McArthur Business Solutions is a strategic management consultancy that embeds within an organisation to better understand and implement its core values. With over 20 years of experience in operational FM and PFI management, its expertise covers all aspects of the built environment. We spoke to the owners, Brian and Cameron Rogers, about its history, USP, and some of the challenges facing the FM industry. How did you get into the FM industry?
I came into the FM and property industry after serving for 23 years in the British Army, retiring in 2000, and it seemed to me to be a natural progression to bring the skills and talents that I'd had instilled into me during those first 23 years of my adult life, where I was able to use my own initiative, where I was able to make decisions, and where I was able to make a real difference. And this, of course, is hugely important to me in the FM industry. And so for me, it was a natural progression of using talents that I'd already gained and bringing them to the FM and property arena.
I finished school at the age of 17 and I started working in finance for a major car dealership within the area. I found this was really something I was into. So Brian, my father and the other director of our company, he was working on a large project in London at the time, Royal London Hospital. And I just decided that I wanted to give it a go. I didn't necessarily want to work with him to start with, so I asked if I could interview with some of the other companies that were working on the project. I then met some guys who were consulting on there, and they were really keen, and they saw how my desire and my determination to get involved in the industry and just to give it a go, really, my sort of can-do attitude, which led to me having to go self-employed and then eventually starting the company. But this involved being part of a project team and consulting on sort of everything to do with FM, which was more than what I knew, and my involvement in it was asset management, the contractual side of it, compliance, scheduling, payment mechanisms, financial payment mechanisms within the contract, and it was a PFI contract, so it was quite complex. It gave me a bit of a broad spectrum of everything to do with the FM services and their involvement in projects, which was something I knew a bit about, but didn't really know how involved they were at the time. So that's a bit about how I got involved in the industry.
How do you try to set yourself apart from the other businesses out there?
We believe we set ourselves apart from some of the other property and facilities consultancies out there by bringing to the table those qualities of trust, integrity, family values, doing what you say you'll do, doing it for the price you said you'd do it to, and doing it on time. The other thing that we believe you get and clients get from us is you get either myself or Cameron all of the time on the end of the phone and involved in any of the projects or initiatives that we're working on. Of course, we have other people working for us, from our designers through to our fit-out companies and our furniture, and a raft of other experts that we can bring in whenever we wish. However, our guiding light has always been that you as a client or the clients will always get to either myself or Cameron should you need us. And nothing is too small. And I suppose to finish answering the question, it really is a matter of we never take on more than we can cope with, and we give every client, large or small, irrespective, 100% effort and 100% of our time to ensure that their money and their project and their initiatives are done to the very highest standard and the best of our ability.
What qualities do you need to be successful in FM?
The qualities I think that are needed to have a successful career in facilities management, property management, etc., are quite straightforward in my mind. Individuals need integrity, they need to be honest, they need to be trustworthy, they need to be quick learners, and they need to be adaptable, and they need to be able to change course of action quickly, and they finally always need to be able to have the courage of their own convictions to make decisions.
What are some of the challenges facing the industry?
Just to touch on what Brian said about the challenges facing the industry, I have an opinion on this, and over the years, although maybe not been in the industry as many years as Brian or some other people out there, I've noticed that we're a service industry, but we seem quite stuck in our ways, and we've become quite reactionary to a lot of problems or things that we feel, especially when it comes to money, we don't seem to analyze the data and use the information at our disposal correctly, in my opinion. For planning ahead, future proofing. For example, I've been involved with servicing offices for hedge funds, financial institutions, and these guys, although they react to the market, no decision is ever made without having every slight bit of information they possibly can, from times things are done to different areas, to diversification. It could be anything. They take every shred of information before they make that final decision. In our industry, we seem to make the decision, then go over the information to see if we were right or wrong, and we tend to be wrong if we've jumped into it. So my big thing going forward is to embrace more of the analytic side of the industry, asset management, future planning, life cycle management. It's all out there, but we don't seem to make the best use of it, in my opinion.
As with all industry, there's always challenges facing us all. I'm of the opinion that within the FM industry, we need to be slightly more adaptable. We need to not lose sight of all of the people that actually are at the front line doing the work most of the time. We need to be a little more strategic in our thinking, generally speaking, and we need to ensure that we are always aligned with the client's visions for the future, whether that be sustainability, whether that be environmental, or whether that just be what type of look and feel they want around their buildings at the time. We need to make sure that we're promoting good leaders, not just managers, but good leaders within the FM industry. And that's a tough challenge, because leadership isn't something that you suddenly learn over the course of a 3-week course. It comes with experience, and it comes with skill, and it comes with knowing how to adapt to different people and different situations. And we need, as an industry, to make sure that we are bringing on young, thriving individuals who can bring so much to us, and not allow the slightly older members of the industry to try to keep putting them in their place. They have a lot of good ideas, they're more tech savvy, and they're more au fait with the world around some of us than we give them credit for. And I think we need to treat the industry far more professionally, and we need to ensure that we are not only training these younger individuals into the industry of FM, but we are looking after them, we're managing them, and we're allowing them to make mistakes when they make them, but making sure they understand that you can't keep making the same mistake over and over again.
What are some of your career highlights?
Career highlights for me. One is running and operating and having the chance to grow a business with my father. Obviously, we run the business together and have done for some time, and we have a good working relationship as well as a good personal relationship, which is fantastic. Second one for me, working on Great Ormond Street Hospital project. Something, it's great to see that although we have a small involvement and we're not necessarily saving lives, but the work we put in and the effort we put in helps those that do those jobs, help countless small children, sick children, and it's a real eye-opener and makes you really appreciate what you've got personally and professionally. Finally, it was probably the day the penny dropped for me when I realised that I really did have the ability. I'm sure a lot of people, I have, like I say, doubt their ability and sometimes question whether or not they've got what it takes to do what they're doing in their career. To give some context, I was working on a large project for a big Fortune 500 company. I was given a presentation at board level. This was the Chief Executive Officer and the Chief Financial Officer were both there. And after the meeting, they basically said, we don't need to have any more of these meetings. If Cameron says we need to do something, we listen to him and we do it. And really affirmed for me the value that myself and our business brings to our clients. And also that the fact that they were able to see that and trusted us, we were able to build a trusting relationship with them and do continued work with them after this was a real career highlight for me.
I've had many career highlights in the last 21 years since breaking into the FM and property industry. However, maybe to summarise a few of the ones that I feel particularly proud of. First one being winning the 2003 Best Operational PFI Award at the then BIFM Awards in London. That was for a Ministry of Defence PFI housing initiative, which went particularly well. And I'm very proud of being a part of that and managing the process through from build to steady state delivery. The second highlight for me was being asked to come in and manage the overall mobilisation of the new Royal London Hospital in the East End of London. That was a mammoth undertaking, not only for me, but for the scores of people that were working for me and with me during that. I was fortunate to have a great team around me, and we were able to mobilise all of the soft, hard and specialised services and work with the Trust to ensure that all of the moves of 11,000 staff and all of the patients went to plan and to time. Timings being particularly strict, as we had to have everything finished by the February of 2012, as the hospital had been partnered with the Olympic Games taking place at Stratford at the time. Another major achievement for me is to have been involved in setting up a company with my son. And although that may sound slightly twee to people out there, I think it's a great achievement that the pair of us set it up in 2013, and we've managed to build a client base that's second to none, and we've achieved a great deal together and for all of the people that we've worked with.